The following is a production of the Baltimore Regional Guardian Angels. The opinions expressed are those of the individuals and do not necessarily reflect the official policies of the Alliance of Guardian Angels or the Baltimore Regional Guardian Angels.
When I heard that they found Phylicia's body, well, first I knew something wasn't right. I knew this wasn't an accident. And I was hoping that they would find whoever did it right away. But it was just plain sadness for her family, for everyone involved. You always want a happy ending.
And we had boots on the street. So I remember thinking that, we'd find her in no time, And so we did the search with so many people. And you always had hope in your heart that you knew that you was going to find her, And so we'd get out there, and we was out there in the cold, looking through the dumpsters, alleyways, woods, drain lines, you name it, abandoned buildings.
As a parent, I was frozen. But as a citizen, I wanted to get involved. I began by sharing her missing person flyer. I also started sharing any media releases, not only here in Baltimore City, but in the state of Maryland, and those that were being released across the country, all while waiting to hear from authorities as to whether or not they needed any assistance from the public.
I remember thinking, man, damn, what do I do? Because I've never been involved in anything like this, so it could be my kids out there missing. And I've dealt with that before. First day of school with my son when he was little. He went, they actually dropped him off at the wrong bus stop. So I understand what it feels like, but I don't understand what it feels like not knowing and not ever finding a loved one. But it's just something that you wouldn't think would happen to you at all. I really got involved with this whole thing. It actually hit me pretty personal. I don't know why, but it's just something like the energy went through me dealing with this.
The search took on a whole, it took on a life of its own, especially for us as Guardian Angels. We were so invested in the search for Phylicia that we were missing work. We were foregoing time with our families. It just became important to us to find her or to find out what happened to her. And it was a really crazy time. It was something that I think in a way at the time for our chapter, it tore us apart during the process. But I think in the end, it brought us all closer together because it was something that we all went through together. And unless you were there, unless you walked that walk alongside the other people in that chapter, it was something that nobody else could understand.
As horrible as this case may be, this is more than just another missing person story. This is not just a story of tragedy and loss of a promising young soul, but this is a story about community, compassion, awareness, bias, empathy, and dedication, especially for missing people of color.
When we found out that Phylicia Barnes was deceased and found, I think you could hear a pin drop at headquarters, and we were all sad about it. I mean, because we worked so hard trying to, look for her, and felt bad for the family. Like I said, we got very close to the family, and they were like our brothers and sisters.
It just changed you. And now, when somebody comes to us and says that someone's missing or a child's missing, automatically you feel like you have to get involved. You have to do something, And to this day, we still reach out for missing children. We've started different chapters across the states that are involved in the Honk for the Missing program. And a lot of things came out of what happened to Phylicia Barnes. As far as waking up people to how children go missing so many times. And 10 years later, we're still involved with a lot of different organizations that are hands-on involved and reaching out each and every day to try and help and make awareness to let people know that kids go missing every 6 seconds. A child goes missing across the United States.
When I got a call from Russell Barnes, who is Phylicia's dad, and I heard the words that no advocate ever wants to hear, despite that this is what we do. But when I spoke with him, it literally changed everything I knew about missing persons and how to handle those cases. What I knew absolutely at that point, though, was that missing persons of color rarely receive media coverage, but Phylicia was definitely different. Her case garnered so much attention in a way that none other had before her. People across the nation knew her name, and that was very different for me. When I looked and saw that she was on the cover of magazines and that popular media stations were covering her story over and over again, I said, she's a movement. She's not just a missing person. She is a movement.
The disappearance of Phylicia Barnes changed all of us. It made us hug our kids a little bit more tighter. It made us more aware of the horror and the evil that men do to each other. But it also made us step up and give a little bit more to those other families who are not as in the media and don't have the support that they once had when their kids first went missing. We've looked for people who spend years looking for loved ones, still setting the table, still making their family members' beds, still waiting every day for them to knock on that door and come in. The Phylicia Barnes case made us all better. As tragic as it is, changed things. The Phylicia Barnes disappearance opened the door for spreading awareness to missing persons. The Phylicia Barnes case opened doors for spreading awareness for people of color. And because of Phylicia Barnes, we have the Phylicia's Law now, which is a law in Baltimore where law enforcement, has to basically reach out to the private sector and community groups and advocates to help fill the gaps where they lack when it comes to manpower and getting people on the street. These groups can get out there now. We can hit the social network now. We can put things together now. We don't get off, we don't clock out, but we have the social networking. We have the guardian angels and the boots on the ground. We have the advocates on the boots on the ground. We can make things happen. We can get to that site, and we can spread the awareness. This story is Phylicia Barnes brought us all together 10 years ago. And we're all still working together 10 years later. And we're all on this video 10 years later. And there's so many more of us. There's tons of us. But Phylicia Barnes made a difference. She made a difference.